It's the second home game of the season for the Dragons, but the first time that they will play on home field. You're watching the SIAC on WLCD, the voice of the Lane College Dragons. You're watching the SIAC on WLCD, the voice of your Lane College Dragons. It could not have been a more anticipated game for the Dragons as homecoming is among us. They have all the home field advantage as they take on the Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State. Hello, everybody. Great to have you with us. Julian Atkins here alongside Tyler Newkirk. And Tyler, you couldn't have wished for a better atmosphere to start this HBCU college football game. Tailgating, lots of alumni in today, and the presence of alumni was felt. And this is a really big game for these Dragons.
Absolutely, Julian. We have a great day today, great atmosphere. Obviously, pretty great to see the alumni come back. Fraternities, sororities, just regular students and alumni. It's a great scene here at the football stadium. And also the field looks nice, pretty well. We have a really good field. As you saw, they redone it. And also we have a great day for football, great weather, great atmosphere, great environment, and we're getting ready here for the kickoff.
Yeah, Kentucky State has won the toss. They've elected to defer their option to the second half, so the Dragons will be back to receive in the all-blue jerseys and pants with the white helmets, and for Kentucky State there with the green helmets and the rolled whites. And we'll see this offense for the Dragons come on the field first, and Tyreek McKenzie, great to have him back after missing a game against UAPB.
And yeah, McKenzie, he's still a younger quarterback, but he's starting to get some experience on his belt. He's getting more and more comfortable each and every week with the offense. So, I look forward to a big game out of him. Obviously, the offense is going to be able to get on the field first and show what they got. So let's see if they can kind of get the juice, get the home field momentum going their way. As you see, they're getting the crowd into it. And, let's see what they can do. 20 seconds to kickoff.
The junior Mahiria Cow will kick it off for the Dragons, Anthony Evelyn. And also back to return is Carrie Shepard, for the Dragons. And we're ready to get this homecoming game started. From Lane Field, you're watching the SIAC on WLCD. It's the voice of the Dragons. And Kentucky State's not going to be a pushover. They already have a win against a Division I opponent.
And we're off. And see, Jude, Evelyn, once he's able to get the ball, especially in a great position, as you're going to see it kicked into the end zone for a touchback, he's one of those elusive players, right? He's one of those guys who's pretty shifty. He's fast. He can change his directions very easily. So definitely a key to watch here in this game, especially as you mentioned earlier, the second home game of the season. Really and truly the first here at Lane Stadium. So, definitely look for him to make plays early on in this game.
An extreme threat to return the ball is Evelyn, as he's already had a punt return for a touchdown this season. Tariq McKenzie will line up in the backfield for the Dragons with Kingston Davis flanking him. And they'll start with a 2-by-1 look in shotgun. And how about this? He's going to throw deep down the field for Richardson. He has it at midfield. And what a start for the Dragons so far, Tyler. One big play, that is.
Yeah, one big play. And you saw that for the defense. You saw the free safety. He started rolling. He started rolling early, and they went to a cover one look. They did a soft cover two, but the strong safety, he kind of bit, and he stepped up. So great route combination. Like I said, the free safety, he bailed out, and they went to a cover one. So who's going to win the one-on-one battles? And Lane won it.
And he's going to throw again. And this time it's short for Richardson, incomplete, as the coverage was great there by Jeremiah Owens.
And that's where you see the growth right there of McKenzie, because he could have very easily forced it. He felt pressure. I thought he had a split second longer to kind of sit in that pocket, but as it goes, credit to the secondary and the defense for Kentucky State.
3-by-1 look for the Dragons with Davis in the backfield. McKenzie in shotgun on this 2nd and 10 with Evelyn in motion. And he's going to throw again. And he's in the pocket. He's going to get flushed out. He's going to throw to the sideline, incomplete, intended for Darren Clark.
Tough break there for the Dragons. Really tough break. If they could have given him, like I said, as you just said last play, another split second, he had his receiver breaking free across the middle of the field. So, those are the little things that are going to come back to potentially haunt them in this game if they're not able to nip it in the bud early.
Yeah, they have to take advantage of the big plays that they get the opportunity of, because this Kentucky State defense is lights out. McKenzie in the shotgun, 2-by-2 look with Davis in the backfield. He'll throw out of the backfield to Davis, and it's incomplete. Just out of the outstretched hands of him. It's going to be 4th down, and here comes the punt team.
Yeah, he's got it. McKenzie has to keep his composure on that play. The pressure came, obviously, and the blitz came off of the edge, but he has to just kind of sit in there, and that's one of those hits he got to take, because the route combination was perfect for the wheel route. He had it open. His receiver had room, his running back, had room to potentially get the first. So that's just one of those hits he has to sit in there and take the results of what would have been a first down.
Brett Salve will be back to receive the Kevin G punt that was nearly blocked. I think they might have got a hand on it, but it'll die down inside the 10-yard line. That's where this triple option offense for Kentucky State will set up a shot.
Yeah, and you got to think, if for Coach Burrows, you got to think in practice this week, they rehearsed this triple option play, so much and so often. It's a very tough thing to stop. Obviously it's triple option, so there's a lot of different concepts to this. You can do a lot of different route concepts, a lot of different passes, runs. The quarterback can do some options. So, it's a whole lot that comes with this offense. But if you plan for it the right way, you can nip it in the bud. It's an offense that can very well easily be shut down.
Nathaniel Miles is going to be the starting quarterback for the Thoroughbreds. He'll hand it off to the fullback, and he'll get to about the 11-yard line. That's Brett Salve on the carry for Kentucky State, and he'll get about 4 yards in the play, Tyler.
Yeah, in defense, and I think it was about 2, but that's the thing about this offense. They're going to kind of nickel and dime you every single time, and with a triple option, they're not looking for the big plays. They're looking for the small chunks of yardage. So, laying the defense is stay on your toes. Don't get caught slipping, because eventually they're going to try a trick play, try to throw one over your head.
And Miles is going to keep it. Multiple flags fly in from opposite directions. We'll see what that is. A no gainer if it stands. Referees are discussing. We'll get the call from the head referee, Brian Hollard.
Personal foul, shot block, offense, number 74, 53. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. Replay, take it down.
And I think that penalty is very common when you're running a triple option offense. As you can see, Air Force, the Citadel, Army, Navy, Georgia Tech, they run those types of offenses, and I think those chop block calls are going to drive a coach crazy.
And how fitting that they're military schools for the most part. But again, as you just said, that's pretty common with the play. Like those chop blocks is just a matter of proper execution and technique, and as you saw right there, just another high-low.
Second and long, and a handoff, and getting nowhere is the running back, Isaac Fields, as he's tackled there by Austin Rubin, the freshman.
And I think Johnny Russell came in there and put a nice stick on him as well, number 40. He came in there, lowered the boom, and gave him a little something he could feel.
Yeah, and beside him is DeMichael McQueen. Did you know that he's a 2020 draft prospect?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I got a class with him. Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
and he's getting back from an injury. He's fighting through an injury right now too. So, definitely want to make sure he stays going. The running back is wrestled down by a couple different Dragons. And that's a great way to get 3 and out here on his first possession. That's a great stand by the defense. As you're going to see Ahmad Isaac back and set for the punt return.
And the punter is going to be Michael Bobak.
That's a great hold. That's a great hold for the defense, especially first possession of the game at home, homecoming. That's what the fans want to see.
The Bobak punt will be fielded by Isaac, but he's going to be taken down immediately. Nice coverage there by Marquise Livers.
Yeah, smart play by Isaac there. Realizing, he was going to get the good hop, take the ball off the hop, and don't lose those extra 10 yards, as opposed to now you starting at the 48-yard line. You would probably started at the 38, maybe a little bit less.
So Tariq McKenzie will be back on the field for the Dragons. Trip set to his right with Davis in the backfield. He's in shotgun. He's going to give it to Davis, and he's going to take a big hit. And only a gain of about 2 yards on that play for Davis at midfield.
Yeah, and that's one of those setup plays. That's one of Coach Burrows that, again, the offense has been doing their plan as well, right? So that's one of those setup plays as you saw Kentucky State not bite but just get caught out of coverage in that first possession. That's one of those setup plays because eventually he's going to pull those and dump it right over the linebacker's heads.
2nd and 8, Richardson will shift out as wide receiver to McKenzie's left. Trips to his right, 3-by-1 look. Davis in the backfield again.
Find it.
McKenzie, he's going to get flushed out of the pocket. Will he throw? No, he's going to tuck it and run, and he'll get a gain of about 5 yards to about the 45-yard line. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and manageable for the Dragons.
Really great job of blocking right there. That's a great job of McKenzie by recognizing and kind of playing cat and mouse. But that's a really great job by Joseph Samuels there, right tackle, protecting his quarterback, protecting all his blind spot, or protecting his front side first and foremost, but making sure that the defensive end could not get to him, even with all of the different shake and bake moves.
One tight end look for the Dragons. McKenzie in the backfield.
Cover 2 look here on defense, but you got to see the safeties bailing again.
Evelyn, the motion man, he'll get it to Evelyn. He's got the first down and more, and he's going to cut upfield inside the 20 and down at the 18-yard line. First down, Dragons.
Great play by Evelyn. Great recognition by McKenzie. Great execution by Evelyn. But you got to think on that play, at least, I would have liked to see him burst a little bit more. If he would have burst, he had the chance to potentially blow past the secondary. But the shake and bake kind of slowed him down and gave the defenders a chance to get back involved. So great play, great first down, Dragons, and they're knocking on the door right here as they have entered the red zone.
Davis will vacate the backfield barely. McKenzie rolling to his right. He'll look, and it's incomplete. Man. Looking for Joshua Button. He was wide open, just slipped through his hands.
The defender did a great job of kind of just blinding his vision, jumping in front of him just to kind of get enough of himself and his body in front of the ball. And Bunton just not able to hold his focus and keep concentration.
Here's McKenzie on 2nd and 10. They'll shift Evelyn out. 2-by-2 look here for the Dragons. Davis in the backfield. On 2nd and 10. Here's Davis running up the middle. Big running back bulldozing his way inside the 10-yard line, down at the 6-yard line.
Great job. Great job spreading the offense, but opening the defense up, especially as they keep going to this cover 1 look. You got to think it also has to be mind-boggling. A good thing for Coach Burrows to see the defense in the cover 1 look. Now everybody's manned up. You spread the field. Now that's going to open up the middle for a strong runner, especially such as Davis.
Option to Davis. He'll try to get to the outside, and he'll dive for the goal line, and he'll be spotted just short at the 1-yard line.
I'll tell you what, if we had a replay, I'd definitely like to see that one again. I thought he might have gotten it with that second effort on the stretch. I thought he got there. But nonetheless, with a guy like Davis, you got to figure, go straight up the middle, no games. As you see the big boy, number 53, my fraternity brother, and as well as my link, Hugo DeValier. You got to know what this is. This is a power set. Big jumbo set. They're going right up the middle.
Power football. It's O-line versus D-line. They'll hand it to Davis, and he's going to be stuffed in the backfield again. Great penetration by that defensive front for the Thoroughbreds, Xavier Johnson.
Yeah, the right side of the line, it looked like, I'm pretty sure the blitz came straight through the A-gaps, and the middle linebacker was totally untouched, but you definitely can't hide that. That's the first thing, especially as you're down here inside the 5. You got to take care of all of the A-gaps and the B-gaps. Those have to be sealed up. And if the O-line can't get a push, it's going to be hard to get in.
McKenzie under center. He'll throw to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Taylor Richardson.
Great play. Great play call. Great play call for the Dragons. Understand it. They showed the jumbo set. They showed it the first time. They ran the ball to the left. The middle blitz came through. So they ran essentially what looked like the same play but to the opposite side. But great play recognition, great understanding, and great play call by calling a play action.
Christian Reyes will attempt the field goal or extra point out of the hold of the punter, Kevin G. And it is blocked. And the Dragons will just have to settle for 6 on this drive, Tyler.
And I believe that was Ladarian McAllister. If I'm not mistaken, if my eyes serve me well, Drew, I believe that was number 5. Ladarian McAllister. They're just showing his hops, just getting up. And he's a receiver, so you got to think that's something that they also practice, especially with him being 6'4". So that's a great job. Special teams definitely going to have to figure out what went wrong there, why the snap was low, why the kick was low. But that point could be huge, especially as this game progresses.
You hope that doesn't come back to haunt you, because missed extra points are points left off of the board, points that you have to have if you're this Lane College or any team, really. So it's 6-0 with 7:54 to go in the first half, or the first quarter, excuse me, with Christian Reyes back to kick for the Dragons. Nathaniel Miles, the quarterback, is back there to receive along with Brett Salve. Reyes lets the ball go airborne, and it'll be taken by Salve inside the 15-yard line. A flag flies in as Salve gets across the 30-yard line. Let's see what the flag is.
Thinking maybe a block in the back.
Likely a block in the back or a hold. What's also been a popular penalty on kickoffs is a chop block, not only from the return team, but the kicking team.
Yeah, and indeed it was a block in the back. I think they said number 58, if I'm not mistaken. That's Tyler Wilder. But that's another key thing to watch as this game progresses. Who's going to be the smartest on the field in terms of execution when it comes to flags, turnovers? Who's going to capitalize and who's going to play a more crisp game?
Or translation, who's going to create the less penalties? Miles back in at quarterback. Option look. The ball was almost bobbled, but getting no gain on the play was the running back Tyler Telfy. And a no gainer on the play for the Thoroughbreds. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Dan O'Neill on the play on the tackle. But see, that's the other thing again with the triple option. It leaves a lot of room for doubt because everybody has to be on the same page. All 11 on the field have to be on the same page when it comes to the triple option. And you saw on that time, the running back and the quarterback just kind of wasn't. It was a strong pitch. But the quarterback, I thought, had a decent crease to maybe hit. But you can tell right away he's not the strongest of runners.
There's a toss play to the left side and a manageable gainer on that play for the running back, Brandon Lawler. And it's going to be 3rd down and short. Let's see if the defense can get a push here, Tyler.
Yeah, it's going to start up front. It's going to start with those big boys in the middle. Who's going to win that battle at the line of scrimmage? You got to look for a push here by Tommy Fonda playing right on the nose. He's got to be able to get some penetration. He's got to win this one-on-one battle right now with him in the center.
And they do run it with the fullback, and I think he got just enough for the first down. They will move the chains. Great push there by Brett Salve, the running back. And it's going to be first down for the Thoroughbreds, stick mover.
And this is the kind of offense that the triple option really is. Like we said earlier, the triple option is not a big play offense. It's more of a boring, slow-paced. Like, again, you said the Army-Navy games. That's typically what it is when Army-Navy play each other. It's not. They don't put up a lot of points on the board. That's just not the way this offense is built. It's more ground, pound, get 3-4 yards, hopefully here and there, and then, throw the ball sometimes.
Great penetration there by the Dragon defense, only holding the running back, Tyler Tolfi, for about 2 yards. But boring, Tyler?
Listen, man, I'm telling you, the way the game is evolving, now we're seeing a lot of spread, a lot of spread offenses, a lot of options. I guess it's a triple option, so I guess. But we're seeing a lot of the offenses starting to spread out. Quarterbacks the mobile quarterbacks are really starting to kind of take over the game of football, especially in NFL. But the triple option is one of those lost offenses. Now you see they're going to go to the pass. That's what the triple option does right there. You run so much, but it's all a setup for the passes. That's a great catch, great pitch and catch there. I believe that was Christopher Conway on the catch, number 32. But that's kind of what their offenses do right there, kind of catch the defense slipping on 1 or 2 plays and get big yardage.
Yeah, that's what they did there. And how about the speed from the big fella? Bulldozing down the field. Only a gain of about, it's probably a gain of about 15 yards. They'll set up inside the 45-yard line to the 46. Miles back under center. Tolfi, the motion man, they'll give it to Salve, and he'll be stuffed in the backfield. Great penetration by that Dragon defense.
Kevin on Gilmore is going to step in. See, that's the thing. Once you figure out the running game of the triple option, it's very easy to stop. It's very easy to contain. But again, as you just saw on the play before, you got to be able to stay home. You got to stay disciplined with this offense because it can get repetitive and very redundant very quickly. So if you're not staying focused and disciplined, those big plays will come back and bite you where they go play action and dump it over your head.
And another thing about this offense is they like to run down clock. It's 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Salve will get the carry again for the Thoroughbreds. And great penetration. The Dragons bring it up 3rd down and about 10 yards, 8 yards to go for the Thoroughbreds.
And I think that was Gilmore again. They're going to keep running. They're going to keep hitting those A gaps, B gaps. The only thing that they're going to do to the outside is going to be a toss. Or either a toss or it's going to be the true triple option where the quarterback's going to go and he's going to play the lateral game. And they're going to try to lateral the ball. But other than that, you got to think 3rd and 8 with this type of offense, now you expect pass. Because chances are they don't expect to pick up 8 yards with a run.
And they also try to catch you off sides. And Salve is going to take a loss here, and it's going to bring up a 4th down and long for the Dragons.
And the complete opposite. This is kind of surprising. I think it might go back to the fact that they are clearly tipping their hand. But shocking to see on 3rd and 8, they go to a run. But, you know, again, it's the triple option offense.
Michael Bobek will be back to kick for the Thoroughbreds, and Isaac back to receive. It's a high spiraling kick. He'll call for a fair catch inside of the 10-yard line.
Smart play. I mean, he could have, I believe, he catch the ball at about the 9-yard line. That's very smart there to keep that, as the defender's right there in his face, right? You might as well you'll take the 9-yard line any day before you take having it back completely pinned at the 2-yard line, right? That's not a chance you can necessarily take right here, especially as your offense kind of got off to a strong start, but you know you don't want to make them march 99 yards down the field and try to get in the end zone.
1st down and 10 for the Dragons. They have moved the ball quite well against this defense.
Safety bailing again.
And they'll run it into the boundary with Darius Trujillo, and he'll get a gain of about 4 yards on that play. 2nd down and maybe a little bit longer.
And I was going to say, just too many linemen on that last play standing around. Too many linemen watching the running back get tackled. You know, they got to hold on to their blocks and stay active. It's a run. So you can actually hold on and stay engaged and lock up. Obviously not holding, but lock up the proper way and drive your feet. So there's too many guys there kind of standing around, and that showed was a no-gainer.
McKenzie incomplete, looking for Richardson. It's going to be 2nd down or 3rd down and 10, as that previous play actually went for no gain by Darius Trujillo. 1:16 and not counting left to go here in the 1st quarter. 6-0 Dragons. They've moved the ball quite well, but they've been stalled out on this drive. Trujillo in the backfield with McKenzie. 2-by-2 set for the Dragons again. And he's going to throw it to his right side, and that pass is complete, but short of the 1st down. Darius Trujillo out of the backfield.
Yeah, you saw him try to cut, but again, here on this field we got grass, so it's a little bit harder to cut on grass. It's, you know, you got to really dig and got to really stick your foot in the ground and be able to cut off of it. But you know, nonetheless, that's kind of why now you end up in a 3-and-out situation. You give your punter a little bit more room to get the ball off cleanly, as opposed to, as we mentioned before, letting that punt go over your head and getting pinned inside the 5 potentially, where now they can send an all-out full rush and maybe get the block.
Solve back to receive. Kevin G received a high snap, but he got the ball off. And the ball will die down inside the 50-yard line. They'll spot it right at the 50-yard line. It's going to be 1st down and 10 for the Thoroughbreds with 26 seconds left to go in the 1st quarter.
Right now, it seems to be a defensive game. Right now, the defense is stepping up and standing tall. Lane's defense, obviously, right now, has kept points off of the board. So, they're doing a better job here early on, as this 1st quarter is slowly coming to an end, as we said, with 26 seconds left. But you got to think at some point the offense of Kentucky State is going to switch it up and try to go for a big hitter.
And they're going to go for a pass. Miles going to be flushed out. He's going to be sacked. No, they're going to throw it away. There is a flag down, but did the ball go past the line of scrimmage, or was there an eligible receiver in the area? Yeah, there was. They're going to say there was an eligible receiver in the area. So it's no grounding. It's going to be an incomplete pass. 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Thoroughbreds.
Yeah, I think the running back, I believe, is number 3. He snuck in there at the last second and got, he saw after the play, he kind of threw his hands in the air and let the ref know he's right there. But another great defensive stand, at least on that 1 down, as I believe that was penetration by Russell once again. Pitch.
That's the pitch. And stumbling down is the fullback, Malik Saunders. Only a gain of about 4 only a gain of about 1 yard for Saunders, as the new quarterback in there is Jalen Myers, the redshirt sophomore out of Maryville, Tennessee, playing in his home state. And that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. The Dragons lead the Thoroughbreds by 6. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Lane Field. The start of the second quarter is among us. Julian Atkins here with Tyler Newkirk, and Myers back to pass. He's going to throw, and it's complete to Jonathan Powell. Cuts back inside the 35-yard line, down at the 33. And a big gainer for the Thoroughbreds caught the Dragons off guard.
Yeah, those are those kind of plays right there that, you know, this offense is kind of built off of. Those big hitters, catch you off guard, throw you off with hopes of catching you off guard and potentially getting big plays. I don't know if you all just saw Coach Burrows kind of getting on this defense. You know, they got to stay awake. Definitely can't fall asleep and get into a low with this offense.
First down and 10 for the Dragons. Option again for Myers. He's going to keep it himself, and he's going to get inside the 15-yard line. And another first down for the Thoroughbreds. Caught the Dragons slipping again, Tyler.
Yeah, and we said it earlier, as you mentioned. They went to the switch. We said earlier with the quarterback that they had in the game at first. He wasn't necessarily the most mobile or agile guy or athlete. So great job by their coach by recognizing that and understanding that and realizing that this quarterback, Jalen Myers, is going to have a better time and he's going to be more successful with running this triple option offense, because that's really what's key when you run this offense, the quarterback.
First and 10, they'll hand it off to the big fullback, and he'll get a gain inside the 10-yard line. They'll spot him down at the 9, I believe, or at the very least the 8.5. It's going to be first down. It's going to be second down and 5 to go for the Thoroughbreds. And I tell you, this game is so packed that they are running out of seats from the home side and have to move people to the visiting side of the stadium. How about that, Tyler? What a wonderful atmosphere we have here at Lane Field.
That definitely lets you know right there it's homecoming. As you're going to see the guy go in motion.
And the fullback will get it. Myers will keep it and dive into the end zone for the TD.
How fitting. That makes sense, though. Again, we just said quarterback is the most essential player when running a triple option offense, because you have to respect him. You're going to respect both backs. And then you have to, as a defense, be able to respect the quarterback and the ability that he has, especially being a dual threat quarterback such as Myers, being able to throw and pass the football. Being able to throw and run the football.
Michael Bobick has a chance to put the Thoroughbreds on top as the Dragons missed a PAT, or the PAT was blocked in the first quarter by the Thoroughbreds, and he does so. It's a 7-6 ball game here at Lane Field. It's 13:06 left to go. The Thoroughbreds just went up front.
Coach Burrows is hot. Coach Burrows is hot with his defense right now. Those are those big plays, though. The defense got a little bit too comfortable with the triple option, and we keep harping on this, but that's what the offense is designed for. They want the defense to get comfortable with stopping those short runs so they can eventually start opening things up. And, again, that's just another great adjustment there for Coach Jackson and his squad, making that adjustment and changing things, and ultimately it resulted in a touchdown.
So don't go to the fridge for kickoffs in this game. Anthony Evelyn is back to return for the Dragons along with Kerry Shepard. But Anthony Evelyn, he's a dynamic player, though. I cannot help but think of Tony Pollard when I see Anthony Evelyn play. He can line up in the return game. He can line up at slot receiver, running back. He's versatile. He's a versatile guy.
Yeah, and see, Drew, you're the Memphis guy, so Pollard makes a lot more sense to you than I. But I definitely do know his name, and I definitely have kept up with his family just a little bit. There's also some fraternity brothers there as well, so I'm not all the way out of the loop, but I'm out of the loop just a touch.
And Anthony Evelyn will get a chance from the 5-yard line. Gets a block, gets the edge, and he's going to cut up field, and he's going to tiptoe out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Big time return. That's what happens when you kick him the ball. When you kick him the ball, you have to play you have to cover extremely well, because he has the speed to kind of blow past you, but he also has the vision to see different creases in different lanes that present themselves. And as you saw in that last play, he saw the crease, he saw the lane, he got himself and his team to the 35-yard line, and here comes the offense.
Tariq McKenzie back in the game for the Dragons. Great to have him back in the starting lineup. He missed the game at UAPB. Michael Huntley took over, and they had UAPB. They had him, but just couldn't finish the job. They'll hand it off to Davis. Great penetration by the thoroughbred D. And they'll tackle him inside the 35-yard line at their own 30. A loss of about 5 on the play for the Dragons.
I tell you what, that was a true pack of thoroughbreds on that last play for the defense. This is a great hold. Anytime 4, 5, 6 guys are able to get to any one offensive player and kind of put their hands and put their bodies on them, definitely shows a great sign and great anticipation for them, and it just had their number on that play.
Down at the bottom of your screen, that's Wilson, their best contested catcher, but McKenzie's going to be flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run it himself, and he'll get hit from behind for a gain of about 4.
The only thing I didn't like about that last play is you can't let your quarterback take a shot like that. His receivers did not get open at all. Like, his receivers kind of sat back and watched him try to make a play with his legs, but none of his receivers tried to come back for the ball or break open or, shoot their hands up in the air. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of them did that. So that's one thing you got to think needs to change, especially as this game keeps going, because, as you mentioned, McKenzie's coming off of an injury already. So you don't want him taking shots like that.
3rd down and 11 for the Dragons. McKenzie going to throw again. And he's going to go deep, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the Thoroughbreds defense, Jonathan Jerry with the interception.
I was kind of waiting on that to happen. At some point. In this game, McKenzie has either been missing, or mainly he's been missing low, but I was waiting on him to start missing high. I just don't like his release point right now. The way I don't like it. It's not clean. It's not clean right now. And I used to play the quarterback position, so I'm kind of familiar with it. But right now it's kind of like he's either short-arming it or he's really overextending it and giving himself, and you saw that last play, he really overextended, threw over both his receivers, and ultimately you saw it ended up in an interception.
Jalen Myers back in at quarterback for the Thoroughbreds. They'll hand it off to the big fullback, and on the fullback dive, and he won't get much.
Kind of surprised Coach Jackson for the Thoroughbreds isn't looking to make the big play right now. That could have potentially been a setup kind of play. But you got to think, after a big offensive possession, then you get a turnover, the big play has to be coming pretty soon. A shot down the field, maybe a play action, or you get a receiver that's streaking across the middle. Something is coming.
2nd down and 8. Myers is going to keep it. A flag down. Multiple flags fly. Maybe a chop
I
block.
was going to say another high-low.
Maybe a chop block, hold, block in the back. It was thrown in the vicinity of either those two penalties or hands in the face.
Personal foul. Shot block. 74, 64 of the offense. 15-yard penalty.
They'll get Anthony Jeter and Joseph Castellanos with those chop blocks. Anthony Jeter, a Memphis native playing in his hometown.
And Jeter, you know, he's in a chopping mood today. Is this his second personal foul penalty today? You know, at some point, the chop is gonna come to bite them, especially on those big plays. Like I'm not quite sure why they're not able to just kind of block it straight up. But those 15-yard penalties are killing them right now. As you see, they're facing a 2nd and 20-plus yards.
And Burrows didn't like what he saw from his defense. He didn't think they were ready, so a smart idea to call a timeout there for the Dragons. Jeter was a part of Jeter's a redshirt sophomore, part of the 2016 state championship for Whitehaven, as they went undefeated that year. But the Dragons have held on defense at times, and they've kind of been bailed out by chop block penalties, don't you think, Tyler?
Yeah, definitely. Defense has kind of started off with for the most part, a pretty strong game, with the one exception of the previous possession where they gave up the touchdown. Just kind of fell asleep and fell into a lull and didn't respect the mobile quarterback in Meyer. So defense has been doing pretty well so far. I think they're starting to get a little bit too lax. But you got to think Coach Burrows is going to ride them. He's going to be on them and try to get those guys right, especially as this game progresses.
It's going to be 2nd down and infinity for the Thoroughbreds.
We can call it infinity. We can call it that. It's definitely, you can see as you're looking at the camera shot, the marker for the first down isn't even a shot. So, yeah, you can call it infinity.
Whistles blare, flags fly. Maybe a false start, delay of game.
Early movement. Yep.
The SIAC conference crew led by Brian Hollard, and that will push them deeper and deeper into their own territory, and more yards to go for the Thoroughbreds. It's going to be 2nd down, and I cannot count at all.
They've hit 30 yards at this point. I'm pretty sure they've hit 30. I believe they got they're marked right now at the 25. They almost hit 30 yards.
Myers is going to keep it, and he's going to muscle his way out of bounds at the 35-yard line, or excuse me, the 37. He's got some of the penalty yardage back, but not much, as they still have a long ways to go to convert the first down.
Yeah, right now for the defense, you got to think, if they're going to go for a shot right now, if they're going to go for a shot at this first, which I kind of highly doubt considering their previous track record with 3rd downs. But typically on 3rd down situations like this, you see some kind of screen. They've gone to a different formation, a 2-by-1 set. It's a little bit more spread out for them.
And Myers going to throw. And he's going to be hit from behind. The ball's out. And I think the the Thoroughbreds got it back. DeMichael McQueen led the charge for the sack, and it's going to be 4th down and infinity, Tyler.
A mistake. That's a great thing. Great defensive stand, but a mistake there by McQueen, who could have potentially helped his offense out a bunch, but just not falling on the ball. Like he had the chance to kind of fall on the ball, but he tried to go for the scoop and score, and it came back to bite him. But now the offense is still going to be able to get the football back, just maybe not with this little field.
Bobek thought about it. He's going to kick it away, and it won't get that far, as it dies down inside the 30-yard line to the 28. And the Dragon offense needs to be a little bit more proficient against this defense.
Definitely a lot of holes they can take advantage of in this defense, and I just don't think they've hit that yet. You got to think Coach Brown is gonna draw something up to hit the open spots in these zones. Because right now I think they have the ability to do so, but I just think they're struggling. I think they're still trying to find their way, trying to get into their rhythm. But you got to be careful this game doesn't get too deep.
Michael Huntley now in the game. He'll toss out of the backfield to Evelyn, and he's going to get slung down for no gain, he lost a few yards.
Andrew Perkins came up from the safety position late to stick. But that's, again, those are the things right there. Those are those big plays that you can't have a loss in, especially on first down. You can't have those losses because now you've already put yourself in a hole. Now you're looking at about 2nd and 17, maybe, give or take, 18 potentially. But now you're looking at pretty much 2nd and long, and those are not what you want to face.
Obvious passing situation here for the Dragons. Evelyn, the motion man. Low snap for Huntley. He's going to step up in the pocket. He's going to get flushed, and he'll just throw it toward the sideline in the direction of Evelyn, incomplete.
Smart play. No, you do.
I was going to say that it was 7:41 left to go in the second quarter. What were you about to say, Tyler?
No, I was about to say it's kind of hard for a quarterback. It's one of the hardest things, rolling one way and looking all the way back to the back side of the field. But had he done so, he had, I believe that was Darren Clark, streaking, coming across from the far side of the field. So just, again, those little things right there that can come back to potentially hurt you, those missed plays, missed opportunities. Because he got it wide open in the middle of the field.
He's going to throw, and it's complete to Josh Bunton, but well short of the first down. And I think they're going to send on the punt team again for the Dragons. 4th down and 6. Look for a potential fake punt here, Tyler.
We'll definitely say it's smart of them to at least line up in punt formation and not try to go for it outright. I think it's a little bit too early for that.
And Kevin G's going to take off with it. He had pressure in his face, and he couldn't get it off. And great penetration for the Thoroughbred defense. Jalen Johnson led the charge. And this offense has great field position, Tyler. I don't know what the punter, Kevin G, was thinking. I think he should have, gone with a little rugby-style punt.
Yeah, right on cue. Like, I'm a little confused as to what happened. I don't know if that was a fake. Definitely a fake is not needed right there. But, I'm gonna go with that was a fake because the penetration was just too great there for the Thoroughbreds. I mean, now you saw at least 6 defenders get there in the backfield very easily. So if it wasn't a fake, the punter had 0 time from jump not to punt the ball or get it off. So, it's
Salve
missed tackles.
Getting to the edge, breaking tackles, and Salve inside the 5-yard line. And the fake punt looks like it's going to backfire on the Dragons.
Yeah, and also lowering his shoulder and lowering the boom as he's able to deliver a great shot there to Gilmore, lower him and get in his chest.
First and goal for the Breds at the 6-yard line. Saunders, the motion man. They'll give it to Salve again. And this time he won't get much down at the 3.
Still too much penetration. Still, I don't think the defensive line is getting a great enough push up front. Because now, as you enter into the red zone, now I believe that at the 3-yard line, you can't give up 3 more of those yards that you just gave up on the last play. So the defense has to bow up and get tough and kind of hold their ground up front.
Myers under center again. And they'll give it to Salve, and he's going to be stopped again, it looks like. Inside the 1. At the 1-yard line. Or at the very most, the 2.5. It's going to be 3rd and goal. Will they send in the power package? I think you have to.
You have to, but I wouldn't necessarily say you have to run the ball right here. Because in my personal opinion, I think we're in 4-down territory if you're the thoroughbreds. I think we're in 4-down territory. Now your defense has kind of gotten into their groove, so you can trust them, especially if they don't convert. You know, they still have a great shot. Lane still has to march 99 yards down the field. So maybe watch a play action. Take a page out of Lane's book.
They'll toss it to Saunders. And did he get in? Yes,
Wow.
Touchdown. And Malik Saunders, the ball did come out at the end, but he was ruled across the plane for the touchdown. Malik Saunders caps off a drive that started with a bad decision by Kevin G to give this offense great field position.
Yeah, defense the defense just got outflanked. The defense got outflanked on that last play. Again, and I kind of wasn't expecting as well, but the outside toss. It was a great play call because now it's a battle to the edge. I think they might have been expecting a play action or some kind of pass or something as well, and they didn't get it. As you're going to see a little bit of an acting job maybe by the kicker as he's failed.
Yeah, I think the kicker.
So I'm trying to see. I'm not going to say an acting job. He might have really gotten hit.
He looks legitimately hurt, but did you see him, flop down as if he was hurt?
No,
Because,
I'll tell you what.
injuries are nothing to play with, as Michael Bobek is the player down on the
tell you.
field. He looks to be in serious pain. Seems to be favoring his shin maybe,
And,
or his foot.
I didn't see if they touched him. I didn't see if he got touched exactly. Again, I wish we had a replay so we can at least have a better visual of it. Nonetheless, you got to hope he's all right. It looks to be his right knee that they're working out. So you hope it's nothing serious. It looks like he's about to get up and get under his own power.
Sophomore from Keldon, Ontario. He's from Canada, I think. And thunderous applause from the home crowd and the visiting crowd as he's getting a little bit of assistance off the field. Let's hope he's not in too much pain.
And that's tough as well because, he's a kicker. That's what kickers, their legs are their money maker. So you hate to see lower body injuries, especially to those positions. But, again, as we said, we hope it's nothing serious, and we hope he is able to come back into this game and continue to make an impact for his team.
Evelyn and Shepard back to receive for the Dragons as Cal is going to be back to kick for the Thoroughbreds. 5:03 left to go in the second quarter. Make sure you stick around for a halftime. It's going to be a halftime show that you don't want to miss. We've got a 14-6 game here on the horizon. They'll pooch it to Shepard, and he'll field it at the 10-yard line. And Shepard's going to spin away from a tackle and get inside the 30-yard line, and another big return for the Dragons.
Yeah, special teams for Lane has been great. They have been great today, with the exception of the one fake punt, or just poor execution. But this kick return for Lane has been great. They've been setting their offense up in great field position each and every time they touch the ball. For the most part, whether it be a touchback or, as you saw, the kick return previous to this one, where they got, I believe, to the 35-yard line. Now it's going to get the offense the ball at the 31. So, offense is going to have to get going here. And that 1 point is going to, be huge, especially as they're going to need a 2-point conversion to tie this game up if they score.
Huntley going for Wilson, a back shoulder attempt incomplete. Good coverage there by Brandon Wade.
Wilson has to do a better job of recognizing the ball. He's got to get his head around the defender there absolutely was not looking at him. So he had every chance and every opportunity to kind of turn around, get his head back to the football, find it, and catch it off his back shoulder.
Mike Huntley in the game for McKenzie, who's still on the sideline, maybe nursing a wound. They'll hand it to Davis, and he'll bulldoze his way. Look at the big fella run inside the 35-yard line. Nevertheless, a third down and short coming up for the Dragons.
Those are the opportunities that you look for and that you're going to put yourself in, especially, if you are going to get in these third down situations, those are the ones that you want to be in. Third and short, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4, which is still short. That's still a great opportunity. But again, that might be a flag, as I thought we were going to get 2 men in motion.
Huntley's going to keep it right up the middle, and he'll get space, and he'll get slammed down on his head inside the 45-yard line. First down for the Dragons, but a flag is down.
They got the 2 men in motion. The receiver moved.
Maybe they'll get tagged with illegal motion.
Legal shift. Offense. 2 men moving. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Tyler, you called it. Too many men in motion. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty. It's going to be 3rd down and 10 yards to go for the Dragons. That big gain from Huntley, all for naught.
Yeah, right now for Lane, that's what's been hurting him, especially here early on in this first half with 3:55 left to go. But, the missed opportunities, the mistakes, the missed opportunities, and the penalties right now have kind of hurt Lane in huge ways.
Davis will shift. Think there was movement, but Huntley's going to take off with it. He's got space to scamper, and he's going to get the first down inside the 40-yard line. And another flag is down. Maybe this is going to be on the defense. If this is on the offense, the coach's blood is going to boil.
As you're going to see, Coach Burrow is going to get on his wide receiver. I believe it's number 81, Quantavious Wilson. Just getting a little bit too mouthy with the players. And that's one thing right now as they're looking to battle back from this 8-point deficit. You can't take any.
Holding. Defense. Number 31. 10-yard penalty. He had the run. Results in a first down.
As you're going to get a hold in there on the defense. But as I was saying, for Lane, you can't really afford any unwarranted penalties right now, especially as you're looking to come back and, as we just said, tie this ball game up late here in this first half.
It's a 3:38 left to go in the second quarter, and it's a 14-6 Kentucky State game. A penalty by Brandon Wade just moved Lane College into their own territory, into Kentucky State territory, excuse me. Low snap for Huntley. And he's going to throw it, and it's incomplete. I don't think that was a great decision. He had Green in front of him. He could have scampered for the first down.
Yeah, I thought he had the ability to potentially run the ball. Not a bad job by the offensive line holding up, but just, I'm not going to say a bad job by the wide receivers of getting open, but I will say a great job by the secondary for Kentucky State with keeping the receivers in check and not allowing for them to break open. Again, but it comes back to receivers as well. They have to come back to the football once their quarterback is starting to get in trouble, and no one did that.
Huntley is going to keep it himself, and he's going to get brought down behind the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 11 for the Dragons coming up.
Yeah, if he had another, literally probably a tenth of a second, he could have potentially threw the slant route to wide open Quantavious Wilson as he was coming across the middle, but he just didn't have the time. He had too many defenders in his face right away. He didn't have the vision, and as you saw, it resulted in a sack.
3rd down and 12. Evelyn, the motion man. Huntley going deep down the field for Evelyn, and it's intercepted again. Second pick of the day. This time it's Jacob Abrams.
Man, listen. If you saw the range Evelyn just covered, Jacob Abrams, sorry about that. If you saw the range Abrams just made up just to get to that football, I mean, my goodness, he ran all the way from the far side of the middle of the field, the far middle side of the field, came all the way, tracked the ball, read the quarterback's eyes, saw Evelyn break open, and was able to jump the pass, time it out perfectly, land, getting both feet in bounds when only in college one is required, and making what is yet another big play for his team. Is now the offense gets the ball with 2:24 left in the first half.
1st and 10 for the Thoroughbreds after the interception, and they'll hand it off on the misdirection of Saunders, and he'll get a gain of about 3 yards. Going to bring up 2nd and 7. It was actually Brandon Lawler on the carry for Kentucky State.
Defense has to really be careful here not to give up any big plays, and they definitely could afford not to give up any kind of points here. They can't afford to let Kentucky State get into field goal range, and definitely cannot give up a touchdown here.
2nd down and 6 for the Thoroughbreds. And on the ground, nice run there by Christopher Conaway. It's going to bring up 3rd down and short.
And what is a really good chain moving play. As you see, Kentucky State Thoroughbreds aren't really moving with too much of a sense of urgency here as they're down to 1:15 left. But, the coach might potentially be satisfied with the way things are going and the momentum they have. It looks like he's going to look to call a timeout as the clock gets down to 1 second, as I believe that is exactly what he's going to do. Is you're going to get a timeout here. But we also have to remember that Kentucky State's going to get the football back to start off in the second half.
You're reading my mind, partner. They do get the ball to start the second half, and they've moved the ball at will against this Dragon defense. They've been on their heels a little bit. And the offense has not been able to respond. They've not been able to respond for the Thoroughbreds.
Yeah, and it'll definitely be decision-making time for Coach Jackson. If Lane is able to get a stop here on 3rd down and keep them from getting the conversion, do you go for it or do you punt? Do you punt the ball back off to Lane? Because pretty sure if Lane gets his ball back, they're going to go for the end zone. As I believe they have 2 timeouts remaining, if I'm not mistaken. But, Lane's defense has to come up with a big stop right now. They have to find a way to get their offense the ball and try to get some kind of points on the board before half.
3rd down and short. 57 seconds left to go in the second quarter. The Thoroughbreds lead it by a score of 14-6. They lead by 8. They gave it to the fullback. And he'll get a gain of about 5 yards. Chris Conaway picks up the 1st down for the Thoroughbreds.
Well, let's see what Coach Jackson does. It looks like his offense is moving with a little bit more pep in their steps.
Myers is going to keep it, and he's got space to scamper inside the 50-yard line and into Dragon territory.
One thing that's probably going to go unnoticed there, it's a great block on the edge by number 25, Brendan Lawler, for their squad. Brendan Lawler for their squad, as he almost held the defender on that play. But he let go in the right amount of time, and now you got to think Thoroughbreds are going to look to get some kind of points on the board as they just caught their second timeout of the half.
Julian Atkins here chopping it up with Tyler Newkirk. And Tyler, the homecoming atmosphere is at an all-time high, but the play from the Dragons and the execution ever since their first scoring drive has been at an all-time low. What do they need to do to execute better on offense?
Well, right now the element of surprise is out of the window. Lane hasn't really done anything as far as offense goes that has wowed anybody, right? The penalties have killed them. Their big plays have all come back for the most part, with the exception of their one score. But, they haven't been able to capitalize off what the defense is giving them. Play calling could, is going to potentially change, and you have to think it's going to be better in the second half. But right now the defense is trying to stop this Kentucky State offense.
They're going to throw down the field. Open man there, and it's incomplete. He had a man with a full step, but that was just outstanding coverage by the cornerback, Ziarian McCleave.
He was open. I believe it was Jordan Level, the wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
And
he just missed the ball.
And how about the arm strength from Miles?
And the funny part about that last play too is that he waited on Level to break free from the from the corner, and once he did that, Level just couldn't come up with the ball in the end zone.
Excuse me, Myers. He's going to throw again on the out route, and it's complete to Jonathan Powell. Did he get his toes in?
He did, yes.
Yes, he did. It's going to be a first down inside the 35-yard line for the Thoroughbreds with 11 seconds to go. You want to think that they want to get a field goal out of this.
That's the goal right now. And the clock stopped. He got out of bounds. He caught it and he got out of bounds. So the clock is going to be stopped. They still have a timeout left, so now they can pretty much throw the ball anywhere. They're not going to spike it. I highly doubt they get up and spike, but now you can throw the ball anywhere on the field. You still have one timeout left, and at least you give your kicker a chance. But that is one storyline. The kicker did go out hurt.
Myers is going to pitch it to Saunders, and he's got space, and he'll get upended for a gain of about 11 and another first down for the Breds.
Is their kicker going to be able to come into this game, Michael Bobak? It looks like he's running around over on the sideline trying to shake it off, but I think the coaching staff right now is having a discussion and a conversation. What do you all want to do? But the good thing is they still have one timeout left to give it a chance or give it some extra thought.
I'd take a shot to the end zone here, Tyler. If you're not sure about the health of Michael Bobak, then I'd take a shot here to the end zone and potentially get a touchdown out of this. And they are going to call a timeout and rethink and think their decision to send Michael Bobak in or just, take a shot to the end zone. That was their last time out. I think there's second-string kickers coming in for the Dragons. For the Thoroughbreds.
No, it looks like Bobak is coming into the game. I believe number 7, unless he's coming in to hold. But it looks like
he's coming in to hold.
All right, okay, I was about to say. But that's a great execution by the offense. Great execution by the quarterback, Coach Jackson's, his team, especially Coach Hamilton, Paul Hamilton, who's the offensive coordinator for their squad. But at least giving yourself a chance at 3 points.
This is a 40-yard field goal attempt by the original holder, and it's going to be up and good. And the Thoroughbreds are going to come away with a 17-6 lead coming into halftime. And so far they've spoiled homecoming here for the Dragons. And Coach Burrows does not look pleased with the referees or the play of his offense and or defense.
Yeah, and that was a job. Just how the team go absolutely crazy. Jonathan Jerry, the backup kicker, who's also a freshman. So that's really why they're going crazy. The freshman came into the game and hit a big 40-yard field goal for the squad to put them up 11 points in this game. But definitely great play for Kentucky State in the first half, and they just have to look to build upon it, and Lane has to come out and try to stop things, nip things in the bud.
It's 17-6 here at Lane Field, and the Dragons have only scored one touchdown to Richardson. And the Thoroughbreds have moved the ball at will. I'll tell you what, we're going to be right back with halftime stats in a little bit. But for now, enjoy the halftime homecoming show and the halftime bands performing.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to the Lane College National Alumni Association.
Class of 1969. Put your hands together and celebrate them.
On behalf of the class of 1969, Mr. President, we are so happy to present to you. On behalf of the class of 1969, we are so happy to present to Mr. President a check in the amount of $122,000 and some change. Mr. President, more to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for the class of 1969 in conjunction with their 50th year celebration. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you 2019 Homecoming Royalty. Mr. Lane College, Bonnie Howard, Senior, Mass Communication from Jackson, Mississippi. Miss Lane College, Chanel Defoe, a Senior from Canton, Michigan. Miss Dragonette, Micaiah Parker, Freshman, Memphis, Tennessee, Biology. Mr. Football, Michael Moore, Jr., Los Angeles, California. Miss United Negro College Fund, UNCF, Tamaya Bora. Senior, Freeport, Illinois, Business Administration. Mr. Pre-Alumni, Kadarius Scott, Senior, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Major, Religious Studies. Mr. Freshman, Demetrius Johnson, Freshman, Earl, Arkansas. Miss Freshman, Hannah Johnson, Freshman, Memphis, Tennessee. Computer Science. Mr. Sophomore, Aaron Banks, Sophomore, Memphis, Tennessee. Miss Sophomore, Asia Patterson, Sophomore, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Biology. Miss Junior, Katrayon Stringer, Junior, Montgomery, Alabama, Sociology. Mr. Junior, Demetrius Williams, Junior, Memphis, Tennessee, Business. Miss Senior, Shavonna Blake, Chicago, Illinois, Biology. Mr. Senior Eric White, Senior, Jackson, Tennessee, major in history. Miss Homecoming, Maury Green, Jr., majors criminal justice, Flint, Michigan. And Mr. Homecoming, Patrick Batson, Senior, physical education, Memphis, Tennessee. Now, Dragon fans, I give to you, Perry.
Happy Homecoming 2019. Do you remember the time? Lane, get ready to roll. Lane, get ready to roll. Lane. Again, it's a celebration. 2019 Lane College Homecoming. The Lane College Marching Band, the Quiet Storm, will entertain you this homecoming. All eyes on the field. Vice President Darryl Clark.
Would all former football players please line up on the north end of the field by the track.
Welcome back to Lane Field, and the Dragons trail the Thoroughbreds by a score of 17-6. Julian Atkins here alongside Tyler Newkirk. And Tyler, other than that one drive where they had a touchdown pass to DeLeo Richardson, they haven't seemed to quite get into a rhythm on offense. 2 giveaways, and defense not doing their job.
Yeah, Julian, they kind of found their rhythm early on, especially in the first possession. They had some success. They hit on big plays. But you just saw for them not quite able to keep that same momentum throughout the game. And that's also a credit to the defense of the Thoroughbreds. But at the same time, you just saw execution became poorer and poorer as the first half continued throughout. And so, you got to think that the offense is going to have to change some things up as this game progresses through the second half. So, looking forward to see what adjustments were made at halftime. What are some things that they drew up? We kind of go back and saw some things that worked and that went well. But you see Coach Burrows getting on the referees because they're on the wrong side of the field. They had to switch. But definitely just want to see what adjustments they've made in the locker room and how they come out and execute here in the second half.
And the question is, who's going to be starting out at quarterback? Because you remember Tariq McKenzie started off the game at quarterback. Then they kind of sat him down a little bit and went with the, I believe Huntley is a sophomore. Yeah, he's a they went with the other sophomore quarterback, Michael Huntley, to run the offense for the Dragons, and he's not been connecting on the passes that he should have been connecting on tonight.
Yeah, he struggled, and I wonder if his injury had something to do with his struggles during the first half. Nonetheless, we're still anticipating if it's going to be Huntley or not. As you're going to see
right through the heart of the defense goes Salve, and he's going to be flipped inside the 45-yard line. He is frustrated that he did not break that one.
He flipped himself, Joe. He's just a big boy, rumbling and stumbling. He's moving. He finally got his momentum going forward, and that low center of gravity just got him. But that's also, again, that goes back to field conditions. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. The field conditions, just looking at the field, there are a lot of holes in the field, some dirt streets that continue to spread throughout the entire field. So definitely, I think field conditions came to bite him in the behind on that play. But nonetheless, it was a great return. He nearly got it out to midfield. So great starting field position for the Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State.
Let's see what adjustments the Dragons have made on defense as Salve scampers for a gain of about 2. So after play tussling going on down the field away from the play, it looks like Dan O'Neill got into it with one of the offensive linemen, Keaton Davis.
Yeah, just a great push. I mean, that granted, it's frustrating if you're the defender because you are getting driven back that many yards down the field, but at the same time, that is a great block. He played through the whistle, and he played well within his every right.
Toss play to the right side and room to run, but it's eclipsed. That was Johnny Russell laying the wood on Isaac Fields, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 4 yards to go for the Thoroughbreds.
And that was a great example of fast flow there. You saw Russell fly from the middle. Really, he was in the middle of the field, but, he flew from his position to that side of the field, was able to chase down a play, and now he put his defense in position to come up with the 3rd and 4th crucial stop.
If they can stop them on defense, this would be big. Kentucky State will take their first time out of the second half. And the Dragons, this stop is, like you said, it's extremely crucial for the Dragons to get this stop here today.
Yeah, especially first possession for Kentucky State here, first possession of the second half in general. You really want to make a defensive stand. You gave up 17 points in the first half, so you really want to come out especially in this first possession of the half, and show that this half is going to be a little bit different. All right, we're going to be able to kind of control the line of scrimmage up front. We're going to be able to defend well. We're going to execute to the best of our abilities, and we're not going to have any blown assignments. And thus far, obviously you saw the big return. The defense has been doing pretty well, but this third and about 4 is going to be a big, big, big play here for the defense.
3rd down and 5. You can hear a couple of chants from the crowd. Under center is Myers. He'll hand it off to the fullback, and that ground game has really been something for the Thoroughbreds today as they pick up another 1st down, Tyler.
Yeah, and as we just said, I'm not going to say it's a bad sign, but it's just not a very good sign to see the running back dragging defenders hanging on to him, at least 5 yards down the field. It's not a great sign. So, up front, I see some hands on some hips. Let's just see who's going to step up, who's going to make a play. Right now, I think the biggest thing the defense can do is get a turnover.
1st down and 10. And they fake the fullback run, and Myers is going to keep it, and that was a nice decision as he read the defense perfectly and scampers out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
Poor job by Bryce McKenzie on that last play. McKenzie has to make a choice. He can't sit and play in the middle, because if he plays in the middle, he's going to give up both every single time. So he has to just commit to making a play. If anything, you go attack the mesh point. So if you're going to sit in that midpoint where you go attack the outside shoulder of the quarterback and drive him through. That way, if he does try to pitch, you can potentially deflect the ball. But if he does hold on to it, you still have half of his body that you can make a play on.
1st down and 10 for the Thoroughbreds. Fields the motion man. They'll give it to Saunders instead. He'll spin his way out of a tackle and bulldoze his way for a 1st down, I believe. I believe that was a stick mover.
The Thoroughbreds have come out with the mentality of, we're going to physically abuse you in this second half. That has been their mentality, at least in this first possession here. But, it's been running through guys, keeping their feet driving, finishing plays, executing, frustrating the defense, frustrating the coaching staff. So definitely a great game plan drawn up here to come out and start the second half with.
Dragons defense find themselves on their heels again.
Who's going to step up and make a play? Who's going to get big-chested?
Fields to the edge. Fields inside the 5-yard line. And another 1st down on this drive for the Breds.
Not a good sign at all. And the way the Thoroughbreds have been running this ball, you have to think they're just going to go and bully their way right up the middle and get the easy points. But again, as I just said, who's going to step up and make a play? Right now, the defense looks like, they really look like they can't impose their will, or they can't make any kind of impact up front, and it goes to show us they're going to get in the end zone for the touchdown. The defense looks gassed, and I'm surprised to see how you look gassed coming out of a halftime break. But they definitely look gassed. They look like they have no enthusiasm at all. And, it's something that is a trend that we have to see if it continues throughout the rest of this game.
Jonathan Jerry is going to attempt the extra point as Saunders, I believe that was his 2nd touchdown of the game on the ground for the Thoroughbreds. And that kick is good. It's a 24-6 lead for the Thoroughbreds. They have ran the ball at will against the Dragons.
Yeah, and it's as you see their flag guys running their logo on the flags. It's on shot across the field, but they're running their logo on their flags. And it's like right now they're taking over Lane Field. That is exactly what they're doing. They come out with the mentality, we're going to take over this field, we're going to take over this homecoming, we're going to take over this game, and there's not a thing you can do about it.
And that's going to be frustrating if you're the Dragons. You're you're looking for a spark here because your offense hasn't been clicking on all cylinders. And actually, your offense hasn't really been clicking at all. They've given the Thoroughbreds three possessions to score, and I think those were the big differences in the game: the botched punt and the 2 interceptions that they have. As Cal is kicking off for the Thoroughbreds, Anthony Evelyn and Shepard back to receive for the Dragons.
You just kind of alluded to it, Drew, but right now, the best production that Lane has been getting today has been coming from the special teams. Special teams has been the biggest production out of the 3 phases of the game. Offense has produced very poorly, defense has produced very poorly, but the special teams has kind of been that happy place, so to speak. Been setting their offense up in great field position, been taking care of things defensively, making smart decisions to keep themselves out of further trouble. But right now, you just said it, there needs to be some kind of spark, some kind of big play to kind of change and shift the momentum of this game. And if they can do that, you know, they got a shot.
Tariq McKenzie's back in at quarterback.
It's only an 18-point game. So it's an 18 point, so it's very manageable and very doable to come back in this game. But the offense or the defense has to make the statement that that is exactly what we're going to do.
And
right
that pass a little bit behind Evelyn. Incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. McKenzie hasn't been very accurate with the football today. Neither quarterbacks have.
Yeah, and I got to it a little bit earlier, but McKenzie's release point is really affecting his throws and his ability to squeeze balls in tight windows. It's not really shifting in his favor right now. And you're seeing that Hundley had a little bit better production when it came to throwing the football.
And there's a better production for McKenzie as Evelyn's out in open space, and he'll scamper out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Well, there's a sign of life for the Dragons, and that's what you'd want. Those are the kind of plays that you want if you're the Dragons and Coach Burrows.
That's the guy who has to get open for the Dragons. Evelyn has to be able to he's that slot receiver. He's the ultimate slot receiver. He's that guy who's elusive, he's fast, he's shifty, as we mentioned earlier. He's that guy who has to step up and break loose from the defense.
They'll hand it off to Kingston Davis. And a gain of about 4 yards on the play. They'll bring up 2nd down and 6.
You know, I'm looking to see if Coach Brown and if he's going to tune things up just a little bit here. You know, the momentum and the pace of this game it seems kind of like a heavyweight fight, so to speak. Like it's back and forth in the sense of the pace of the game. But Kentucky State has been able to capitalize a little bit better off of their turnovers and the mistakes that Lane has made. But right now, I'd like to see the offense pick up.
2-by-1 look on 2nd and 6. They'll run it on the ground with Davis again. And he'll get a gain of about 5 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 2 yards for the Dragons.
3rd and 2. You got to get the first down here. Don't do anything fancy. Get a ball to Kingston Davis. Let him go up the middle. You got to get some push up front.
There's got to be some kind of spark for the Dragons in this second half. And this 3rd down conversion might get that spark. They need the tip of the boundary, and Evelyn is going to get that and more. He's got blockers in front, and he's going to keep driving his feet inside the 30-yard line. He's going to get hammered out of bounds. No flag, but nevertheless, a great run by Anthony Evelyn.
That's the spark right there. Evelyn stepping up, taking advantage of what the defense is giving him, and doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Great play. Now, if you're the offense, you keep things going. Ride the momentum. Don't slow the game down at all. Keep riding this momentum that you have. Try to get the ball into the end zone.
2 tight end look for McKenzie. They'll hand it off to Davis, and that was read perfectly. Great penetration by Jeremiah Owens, the linebacker.
Well, right now, too, one thing you have to realize is the Dragons have run that read option play at least 10 to 15 times in this game. So that's a dead play at this point. That play isn't going to have any chance to continue working throughout the course of this game. So they're going to have to go to something else. Even a read option where he fakes it and pulls it and throws it. At some point, as you just saw, they're going to continue to bring their pressure off of the edge.
Play action, McKenzie dropped by Richardson. Great play on the ball by Antoine Lloyd. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 12 for the Dragons. And I don't think you'd want a field goal if you're Coach Derek Burrows.
Absolutely not. A field goal here obviously gets you 3 points, but a field goal here is also a loss, in my opinion. You've driven the ball this far down the field. You don't get down to this far of the field and expect any kind of field goal at any point, especially when you had a pretty good chances.
And how about this? They're going to run it with Davis, and he'll bulldoze his way inside the 10-yard line. What a run.
It looks like we got an injured player on the field. So I believe it's number 40, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to get a good look at the number, but I believe it's Anthony Clark. But back to that run for Davis. It's one of those things that it worked out. It worked out for him. Questionable call on 3rd and 12. But again, it worked. So now you can say, okay, great job, it worked. But, there was also some missed tackles on the play. Defenders wasn't, So what do we do now to get the ball into the end zone? And it wasn't Anthony Clark. It was 48 who was shaking up Andrew Perkins. He's going to limp his way off under his own power. We hope he's all right.
And I think they were anticipating pass on that play because Tariq McKenzie has an arm. He can sling it.
And at this point, now this is where I want to see the adjustment made if you're Coach Jackson's squad for the thoroughbreds. McKenzie has struggled. Throwing the football, so why not make him beat you with his arm? Rather, stop the run. Be committed to stopping the run right now. Line up man-to-man and make their receivers make a play.
He's flushed out of the pocket, and he's just going to throw it away incomplete.
You saw the two receivers collide on that last play. I believe it was number 88, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, but nonetheless, it was two receivers for Lane that collided on that play as they looked like they tried to run some kind of rub concept route with some kind of vertical switches, and they just ended up running into each other, and it kind of was a dead play from jump.
That was Wilson and Richardson that collided with each other. 2nd and 10. Evelyn McKenzie's going to keep it, and he'll get his way inside the 5-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and goal.
3rd and goal. You got to punch the ball into the end zone. You can't settle for 3 points. And again, as we said a little bit earlier, I think this is 4-down territory. 4-down territory. If you're Coach Burrows, you can't be satisfied with leaving here with 3 points. So this is absolutely should be 4-down territory, and you have to take advantage of it.
Especially with an offense like Kentucky State.
They hug a lot of the clock. They take the clock.
3rd down and 5 from the goal line, wide open, but it's dropped by Davis. He had 6 in front of him. He dropped the half dozen. Wow. And I think they're going to go for it.
Yeah, they have no choice. But that's one way, again, missed opportunities. The missed opportunities for Lane have killed them, the mistakes and the errors. But, you still get another chance here facing a 4th and goal at what looks like the 4 or 5 yard line. So now you just do what you can. You got to shake that play off. You dropped it, but you shake it off. You try to get in the end zone on this play. Make this play count.
On 4th and 5, going toward the end zone, touchdown, Delario Richardson's 2nd touchdown of the day.
You got to go for 2.
And I think they're going to go for 2 here. The last PAT they attempted was blocked. So I think they're going to go for 2 and try to cut this down into a 10-point game. And I think, why did I know what they were going to do from the play call that they had? They tried to catch the Thoroughbreds off guard with McKenzie acting like he called a play, like he was calling a play, but they direct snapped it to Davis, and I think he was going to throw it to McKenzie for a touchdown. I mean, for the 2-point conversion. They are still going to go for a 2-point conversion, but the Thoroughbreds, I think the head coach Charlie Jackson saw what they were trying to do and called a timeout before they cut this into a 10-point game.
Well, bring the tricks out. Bring the tricks out. Pull out all the stops here because you definitely need this 2-point conversion. As you just said, they had the missed extra point, or missed extra point earlier. The blocked extra point earlier. But this is definitely a 2-point conversion that they need to take advantage of, because you have to think Coach Jackson is going to look to eat up as much of the clock as possible. And, right now he's going to play very conservative.
McKenzie, Davis going to bulldoze his way in for the 2-point conversion. We got a 10-point game here.
That was a kind of funny moment here in the box, looking down at the fans and the entire field. But you saw, as soon as McKenzie dumped it down to Davis, it's kind of like everybody held their breath for a second. Everybody kind of took a really deep breath and he took a large inhale, and he caught it and he turned upfield, and it was a sigh of relief that he got in and that he caught the ball. Worked out in their favor, and now Lane is gotten a little bit of momentum going back that way, down 10 points now.
All of a sudden, we have a game. This was an 18-point game at one point. Now the Dragons have cut it within 10, and now they've got to cover the punt, cover the kickoff, and get a 3-and-out on defense.
If you're the Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State, how do you respond? How do you respond to the band plan? How do you respond to the score and the 2-point conversion that just happened? How do you respond?
Nathaniel Miles with a lane to run and another big return for the Thoroughbreds. Toward the 40-yard line, 45-yard line, excuse me.
Again, the field position. Right now, we talked about Lane's special teams, thriving in the first half. They've struggled a little bit here in the second half. As you see, they've given up 2 big runs right up the middle on kickoff. So the coach is going to have to go back and look at the tape, see what hole is open. Because right now they're being absolutely abused on kickoff. And you got to think, at some point, one of those is going to break.
They handed off just as the play clock was going to expire, and the run was for no gain for Tyler Telfy. Actually lost a couple of yards. I think that was Joshua Jeffrey that led the charge for the Dragons. It's going to be 2nd down and 11 for the Thoroughbreds.
Again, now if you're Lane's defense, you stay disciplined. Stay disciplined, respect the quarterback, respect the triple option, but not just do your jobs. Stay job savvy and stay home.
On 2nd down and 11, they'll throw it to Jonathan Powell, and they'll try to bring him down inside the 50-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and about 2 yards or 2.5 yards to go for the Thoroughbreds. They picked on the corner, Kewan Thomas, or excuse me, that was Bryce McKenzie. Bryce McKenzie, excuse me. It's going to be 3rd down and 2. They have converted on many 3rd downs today. And they'll convert another one. And Silv on the carry for the Thoroughbreds. He'll get the 1st down for the Breds. So keep this drive alive. They will run the clock down. That's one of the strong suits of this triple option offense.
Yeah, it's very imperative that Lane gets off of the field, defense in particular. They get off the field
at this
when they
point,
have the chance to. I mean, especially on those 3rd downs, you got to do it.
Yeah, at this point, you can't give up another touchdown. And Nathaniel Miles, or excuse me, Jalen Myers, scoots for a gain of about 2 yards. They read the quarterback run that time. It's going to bring up 2nd down and about 8.
Expect some kind of big play here coming from Thoroughbreds. Right now they've kind of relaxed, let their foot off the gas a little bit. As we just said, it's 3:40 left here in the 3rd quarter. Their plans to definitely chew up some clock. They're letting the play clock get down really low every time in 5 seconds. So, their goal right now is definitely to chew up clock, but look for him to take advantage of these one-on-one opportunities at wide receivers. He got a receiver deep.
Yep, they got a man with a step. It's
There it
Jonathan
is.
Powell for the touchdown.
There it is. There it is. And listen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that. I mean, this entire drive has pretty much showed you that either that last play or the play after that, some kind of big play was coming. They were looking to open it up. And that's exactly what it's like they showed you. They showed you without showing you what their next move was. And you saw it. You saw the one-on-one. You saw the DBs get a little bit too lax, and the corners got burned.
Jonathan Jerry on to attempt the extra point. And it's good. We've got a 17-point game here yet again for the Thoroughbreds. It's 31-14. And at this point, I think you're just looking for a spark from your special teams.
Yeah, and yes, you're looking for a spark. Agreed. But now you find yourselves now 17 points. They're gonna need a little bit more than the spark because the momentum has now shifted back in favor of Kentucky State. Lane gained a little bit of that back once they were able to score and put some points on the board and get a nice drive going. But defense definitely didn't respond well. They don't seem like defenses come out to play football here in the second half.
Cal is going to be the kickoff man. Anthony Evelyn and Shepard back to receive again for the Dragons.
Who's going to step up? Who's going to step up and who's going to make a play? At some point, one of these 3 phases of the game, whether it be offense, defense, or special teams, has to take the initiative of saying, listen, we're going to take this game over. We're going to bring our team back. And we're going to scratch and claw and do everything we can.
Evelyn will retreat and wave it off into the back of the end zone for a touchback. They'll start this drive at the 25-yard line, Tyler. And I think they're looking for another drive, quite like their first drive of the half.
Yeah, and any drive that you score on, you definitely look to emulate that drive once you step on the field again. But for the offense, they're going to have to take some chances. Right now, I think Coach Brown has been a bit too conservative with the play calls. But, he's going to have to hustle. He's going to have to pick things up in this game. He's going to get the offense rolling. You got to take some chances.
Coach Burrows was hot all over the safety, James Marable, for not being over the top of the defense. It's 1st down and 10 for the Dragons. And McKenzie's going to go downfield for Richardson. He's going to have to adjust, and it's incomplete.
That's a poor throw. That's what that comes down to, a poor throw by McKenzie. He had a receiver wide open. Wide open down the field. But just a poor throw. And the reason why that wouldn't be pass interference is because the pass was poor. It was an underthrown ball. The receiver didn't really have a chance necessarily to come back to the ball because he completely overran it. But, again, another missed opportunity that you can chalk up for the Dragons.
2nd down and 10 for the Dragons with Davis in the backfield. They tried the hard count, and I think the offense moved. Did the offense move, or did the defense make contact?
I think they made contact. Can you get a Crossman? Oh. I was about to say, I think he called false start, but I want to say he was making a mistake. There we go.
Jeremiah Owens, the linebacker, got fooled with a hard count by McKenzie, and it's going to bring up 2nd down and a manageable 5 for the Dragons.
Well, right now the defense is showing them a cover 4 look, but if you can, you want to try to get your receiver out in these one-on-one situations. You spread the football field. You spread your receivers out the field, even though they're providing help over the top. But there you go.
Here's
Quick
Bunn
passes.
with open space, trying to cut up field, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line, and a 1st down for the Dragons.
And if they're going to play you in that cover 4 look, that's exactly what you have to do. You have to look to get the ball out of your hands right away. Because 9 times out of 10, those corners are going to be bailing anyways. And once those corners bail, they know they got help in the middle of the field on both sides. But at the same time, they also know that they have to get to their deep quarter of the field and expect some kind of help underneath in the flats.
Davis trying to break tackles, and he's not going to do it. He's going to be tackled just at the line of scrimmage. No gain. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Dragons. Clock running inside of 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
That's not quite what I'm understanding about how things are going as far as the play calling in this game. Once you get a big play, especially in the air, the time is not to go and slow the game back down on the ground. Once you get that big play, you keep rolling on that momentum. Keep things going, because it's going to be hard to get back into the swing of things. And you're going to find yourselves losing field position in terms of a down. Play it. You got a free play.
Yep, he's got a free play. McKenzie
look down the field.
Going to throw down the field. He's going to heave a wounded duck up, and it's going to be intercepted, but it's not going to count. A free play coming up for the Dragons.
I tell you what. I know
that was a weird play.
I know it's a free play, but you got to think. Coach Brown has to be thinking about putting Michael Huntley back into this game. He has to be thinking about bringing Michael Huntley back into the game, especially as, again, they're still down 17 points with 1:57 left here in the 3rd quarter, and McKenzie's just not able to get the job done this far.
Chris Roberts, the guilty party for the Thoroughbreds. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 5, and I think the Kentucky State defense is trying to is showing a little bit of undiscipline. You can't, and I think the Dragons are trying to take advantage of their opportunities. You can't outrun them. You got to outsmart them.
They're trying to, but you can't take advantage of opportunities by being too conservative. Because, see, that's what happens right there. When you're too conservative, once you're given the opportunities to take advantage of mistakes made by the defense, you have to not be afraid to take a chance, especially when things already aren't going your way. You have to take a chance and try to put this ball in the air and see what, because the defense right now is giving them plays to make in the air. They're just choosing not to take them.
It's 3rd down and 5. Minute 10 left to go for the 3rd quarter. McKenzie. Evelyn, incomplete. He had the 1st down yardage in front of him, but just slightly overthrown for Evelyn. It's going to bring up 4th down, and the punt team's going to come out. That's got to be a frustrating drive if you're head coach Burrows.
Yeah, fourth quarter, you have to think. As we just said, Michael Huntley should be warming his arm up to come into this game in the fourth quarter because you can't continue to ride this wave and expect things to change in the fourth quarter if you have any plans on winning this ball game. They need some kind of energy, some kind of momentum needs to be ignited into these fans and into the team. As you saw, a shank punt is going to go and kind of sort of work out in their favor as Lane is going to down it at the 19-yard line, but they need some kind of boost of energy here, some kind of spark, if you will. I know that's some kind of spark. It's gonna have to be made here. Defense gonna have to make a stand.
Don't try to lead them so much.
So it's going to be first down and 10 for the Thoroughbreds at the 19-yard line. 49 seconds left to go in this third quarter. It's been all Thoroughbreds so far. Power formation for Jalen Myers again. Play clock at 7. And a timeout called for the Thoroughbreds.
Second charge timeout. Kentucky State.
That's their third. Somebody better check. That's their third.
I think they took their second charge timeout. I think they. Well, how about that? You don't have any more timeouts, and this is still a game. What if they, spark a comeback and you find yourself in a situation where you have to, march down the field and kick a field goal or score the game-winning touchdown?
Yeah, it's still a game, but that's the advantage that you have when you're up 17 points. You have the advantage of not necessarily needing to rely on your timeouts. Right now, Coach is putting a lot of faith in his team and a lot of faith in his defense to continue to make stops and continue to execute, and on this offense to continue to run some clock.
They'll run it with the fullback, Saunders. Or, excuse me, that's Christopher Conway. It's going to bring up second down and 7 with 30 seconds exactly left to go in the third quarter.
Second differentials in this play clock and the game clock.
And another run. I think that's going to be the last play of the quarter, and it more than likely is. So the Dragons have responded on a touchdown, but Kentucky State has had all the ounces to counter in the third quarter. It's been all Kentucky State this game. And somebody's got 15 minutes to secure their homecoming or walk back to the capital of Kentucky with a win, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Lane Field. The Dragons face a third down and 5, third down and 6, a critical defensive stop coming up for the Dragons. Julian Atkins and Tyler Newkirk with you. Myers going to throw, and he's got a man there, but it's overthrown. Incomplete looking for Jordan Lovell, the wide receiver, and that's a critical defensive stop for the Dragons, and that's those kind of plays that you'd like to have if you're the Dragon defense.
Yeah, even the underlying beauty in that last play was also the fact that it was an incomplete pass. So if you're lane, you saved yourselves a little bit more time, or that much more time in this fourth quarter to complete the comeback bid.
Jonathan Jerry back to punt for the Thoroughbreds. And Ahmad Isaac will wave everybody back, and the ball will die down just at, well, not at midfield, but maybe at the 48-yard line. Actually, they'll spot it at the 47. It's great field position for this offense to start. Do they go with the other sophomore? No, they keep the preferred sophomore in, Tariq McKenzie. They need to establish some kind of offense here in the fourth quarter, Tyler.
Absolutely, and again, they have to start taking chances. Now it's the fourth quarter. This is it. You don't have any other quarters after this. You have to take a chance, or you have to take chances to try to get back in this ballgame.
McKenzie's going to throw. Going to go deep, and it's incomplete, intended for Richardson, and here comes a flag.
Yep.
On the coverage by Xavier Johnson. I think they're going to wave that one off. They are going to wave it off. I think they said that the pass was uncatchable. I don't know about that one. I think that pass was catchable. I think Richardson was interfered with by Johnson, but I'm not the referee. It's second down and 10 yards to go for the Dragons. Not so much of a big fan with that call. McKenzie to Davis, trying to get to the edge. Davis going to hammer toward the 48-yard line, a gain of 1, third down and 9 coming up for the Dragons.
Great play by Jeremiah Owens. That's actually one of the tricks to getting down to bigger running backs. One of the tricks is to take them out up top. You try to get them down low. More than likely, most times than not, they're powerful. That's where their lower bodies really come into play. But taking those guys out up top, going chest to chest with them, 9 times out of 10, you're able to make the play, whether you land on him or you sling him to the ground or he lands on you.
Evelyn in motion. McKenzie flushed out of the pocket. He's going to keep it himself. He's going to tuck and run, and that's a great decision for a first down, and he holds on to the ball to avoid a fumble at the 35-yard line.
Way to break loose. Way to break loose by McKenzie, knowing where he had to get to for the first down. And also a poor job tackling there by Kentucky State, not wrapping up and not finishing the block. Not finishing the play.
They'll spot it at the 37-yard line here. First and 10 with Davis in the backfield. 3-by-1 look. Wilson to his left. McKenzie under the delayed handoff. He's going to hand it off to Davis, and he'll get his way inside the 30-yard line.
You saw it again on that last play. They tried to go low. You can't ankle bite with a big running back like that. You have to go high on him, make him lower his shoulder, and try to initiate the contact. Because more times than not, again, if he is able to get the upper hand on you, at least he's going to fall over on you and he's going to fall to the ground.
And I don't see why they're running vertical toward this defense. Try running more at them. And they're going to throw. And a stop route to Anthony Evelyn. He's got space. He breaks a tackle and is shoestringed inside the 20-yard line. And another first down for the Dragons.
I saw Evelyn at the last second, but I had also saw if they decided to take it. I saw they had a Joshua Bunton potentially would look like he was running some kind of comeback, but I thought he might have had the upper hand on what could have been some kind of fade or some kind of a wheel route.
On first and 10, McKenzie with Davis in the backfield. Evelyn's going to go in motion. And a little shovel pass to Evelyn, and he's got space to work, and he gets toward the 15-yard line down at about the 12.
All right, trickery coming out here in the fourth quarter. Still, still trying to move with more of a sense of urgency. The goal, obviously, is touchdown here. You playing pretty much 4 downs, I believe.
Second
4 down territory.
Second down and 5. Davis in the backfield again with McKenzie.
Got it.
McKenzie's incomplete. Tried to throw out of the backfield to Davis.
I thought he was going to look the opposite way. I thought he had a receiver open on the backside towards the middle of the field. But again, just this one read. Once you get that one read, you can't, you got to scan through the field, go through your progression.
3rd down and 4. 3rd down and 3. Two by two with Evelyn the motion man, and McKenzie will keep it up the middle. And did he get enough for the first down?
It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
It will depend on the spot.
I might think they're going to come measure. Yep, there it is. They're going to come measure this.
They're going to bring the chains out to measure it.
And right here, this is a key measurement right here. Because if you're Lane, obviously you need this first down. And even if you don't get it, you still need the first down. You can't afford not to capitalize and execute on this opportunity.
And will they give it to him? I think he's short. Short by a yard, short by inches. And I think this is 4 down territory.
Don't get cute at all. Quarterback sneak. Although I haven't seen too much under center. The reason why I wouldn't go shotgun here, is because you're already going to lose a couple yards. You're already going to use a couple yards. But the only benefit to that is you at least get a little bit of momentum going, a little running start. But I like the old school under center quarterback sneak here.
The Thoroughbreds bring in their big package, and I think the Dragons also as well. I see Kewan Thomas in the backfield, and I don't understand why they're going in shotgun here. A false start is going to more than likely force a field goal.
Still think it's 4 down territory. Still think you have to go for it. The mistakes and the missed opportunities. Can't continue to make errors if you plan on coming back in the ballgame.
4th down and 5. They are going to go for it. And I think they're going to bring in their skilled players on the field for the Dragons.
Evelyn is obviously the player that they've love to go to in these situations. You can see he's on the line, so he's not going to go in motion, but you got to look for some kind of slant route, some kind of slant concept.
On 4th and 6, McKenzie going to try to run for it. He's going to get the first down, and he might get the touchdown. He will.
There you go. Good job. Good recognition. Great job reading what the defense gave you, taking advantage of it. Go for the 2-point conversion. It looks like that's what they're going to do.
Cut this to a 1-score or
no, it'd be a 9-point.
Yeah, actually no, it's going to be a 1-score game. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be a 9-point. That's going to be a 9-point game. They converted on 1 today. And a timeout called by the Dragons 10-19 left to go in the fourth quarter. And Tyler, this game has changed dramatically. Now, your offense is doing good. Now, what I really want to see is what's going to be the play from our defense.
Absolutely.
What's going to be the key factor for our defense to come up with a stop, because the Thoroughbreds have moved the ball at will against this Dragon defense.
Absolutely. What the offense has done right now is at least giving you a chance. They've given themselves and giving the team a chance at an attempt at a comeback. So, this is also a crucial play here. You got to kind of wonder why you would go for 2 here. But, it'll be a 9-point game. But at the same time, again, as you just said, defense has to be absolutely ready. And I wouldn't be surprised if kickoff tries some kind of onside kick or some kind of trickery, whether it be a sky kick or an onside kick, but something to try to get this ball back.
There have been 51 points scored in this game, but no lead changes. McKenzie rolling right. It's a reverse. And Evelyn trying to get into the end zone, and he will be denied. And this is going to stay an 11-point game.
All right, so questionable. Very, very, very questionable play call. It just doesn't quite make sense to me right there why you go for 2, because now you're in a situation where you didn't make it, right? If you score, you're going to have to go for 2, and then you still have to have the field goal.
Not only do I not agree with the decision to go for 2, but I also have to, disagree with the play call. You have Tariq McKenzie, one of the who has been slinging the ball at will, and DeLeo Richardson has been on fire, and Anthony Evelyn's been good tonight. So why not put the ball in the air?
Yeah, definitely one of those head scratchers. Something they'll definitely look at once this game is over. But I mean, hey, let's see how they respond.
This is still anybody's game. Rays will put it into the end zone. Still, we'll watch it soar in there. 10-19 left to go. You're up by 11. What do? I think you try to bleed down some clock, because that's what you've been doing all night. And Anthony Evelyn's not getting up. He's still encouraging his teammates. Hey, we've got 10 minutes left to go. And the fans are getting involved.
I was going to say, defense trying to hype the fans up, trying to help get themselves going as well. This is a huge possession right here. You cannot let the Thoroughbreds get one of those long drives going where they take 5, 6, 7 minutes off of the clock. Lane needs to get the ball back ASAP.
Pitch play to Fields, and he's got the edge, and he'll tiptoe out of bounds at about the 30. Let's see where they will spot him at the 30-yard line, 35-yard line, excuse me.
Another blown assignment. As you saw Kevin Gilmore just blow the assignment. He didn't stay home. He didn't respect. He had the pitch man. He didn't take the pitch man. He took.
Field clock is inoperable. We will keep it on the field.
They will keep the play clock on the field. They say that the field clock, or excuse me, the play clock has been inoperable.
All right, so
2nd down and 1. What do you do here if you're Lane College, or excuse me, Kentucky State?
Now this game takes another twist. So now the refs are going to keep the clock on the field. We aren't going to be able to visually see the clock, but they're going to supposed to have some kind of updates for us. But again, it's one of those touchy things. Now the communication amongst refs and coaches and teams is very vital, in particular for Lane.
So it's 2nd down and 1. They've got a 1-by-1 look. And they'll give it to Salve, and he'll get the first down easily.
Another blown assignment.
Yeah, and some after play talking, trash talking by both teams. It's first down and 10 for the Dragons, or excuse me, the Thoroughbreds.
Another blown assignment there. Another example of what not staying home looks like. And it came back to bite them as they've given up the first down. And now the Thoroughbreds are continuing to milk the clock.
They're going to toss it. And they had him in the backfield. They are going to tackle him in the backfield. And a flag is down. And if that foul is going to go against the Dragons, it's probably going to go against Gilmore. There was some after-play tussling, and with the reaction of Kentucky State, I think this is going to go against Kentucky State. Got a problem with the horn.
What looks to be another penalty as Coach Burrows is demanding to know what exactly was called, but they got number 25, Kevin Gilmore, there for the personal foul, saying he went low for the knees and tried to chop one of the offensive linemen down. As I just saw him 5 yards downfield, which looked like it might have been farther. Nonetheless, another penalty, another mistake by Lane that's costing them.
They finally got the buzzer turned off, but the clock is at 0. But the clock shows 0 for both teams. Handoff to the fullback. That's Conway. It's going to be second down and 8 yards to go for the Thoroughbreds. It is 31-20 Kentucky State. We have some issues with the clock, so it's going to be controlled on the field, and the score is 31-20. They have fixed the clock. They'll hand it off to the fullback again. Great penetration, and a third down and medium manageable coming up for the Thoroughbreds. And I think this is one of those plays where you have to get a stop. A stop is completely necessary.
Yeah, it's another example of what milking the clock looks like. And unfortunately, I was about to say, unfortunately for us, we don't know the time, but the ref just gave us a report. It's 7:30 and ticking on the clock. But this has been coming another one of those, milk running drives instead of milking the clock.
Look for a pass here. And they are going to throw. He's got a man wide open down the middle of the field and inside the 5, touchdown. Brandon Lawler. And the Thoroughbreds might have put their stamp on this one as the fans are leaving.
Yeah, I was just about to say that might be the dagger right there. As homecoming looks to be spoiled. As you just mentioned, fans starting to make their way for the exits on both sides of the field. Not the performance the Dragons were looking to have today, but nonetheless, they still have some time left in this game to continue to play football.
The extra point was good. Not the prettiest looking kick, but it went through, and the Thoroughbreds are up 38-20.
I tell you what, Jude, my problem right now is the body language. The body language of the guys right now, it's not a good look to see the guys walking off the field, heads hanging down. Like, you take your losses the same way you take your wins. And this is not a loss in any way, shape, or form. It's not all zeros on the clock just yet. You got to continue to play football. I've seen crazy things happen. Right now that body language, again, is not fitting. It's not fitting for football players. It's not something you really want to see. And it's definitely not something alumni wants to see coming back for homecoming. But as you mentioned, now, people really starting to foul for the exits and head out over for the tailgate.
Cal's going to kick off, and Evelyn and Carey back to receive for the Dragons. This game might change off of special teams.
If moves are going to be made, it's time for them to be made now. As we're back to the 18-point deficit for the Dragons, we're looking at 38-20 for the score. So Evelyn will look to return this ball.
He'll take it from the 5. He gets to the edge, and he's got a lane. And he'll be brought down from behind at the 40-yard line. This special teams has been really a spark for the Dragons.
They've been the biggest bright star, and I think we also said this early on, but they've been the biggest bright star of this game. Special teams, when they go back and they have their meetings and they break down film and they go over how this game is gone, special teams will have more positives under their belt than either of the other two phases.
McKenzie in the backfield, Davis flanking him. And here's Evelyn on the catch, and will try to turn upfield for a gain of about 2 yards. Or 4 yards. Second down and 2. Or second down and 7, as that was actually a gain of 3 yards.
If you're the coaches right now, you're looking for if you're the coaches, is they just going to move it a yard up. But if you're the coaches right now, you're looking for body language. You're looking to see who's going to continue fighting. Even though we're down, who's going to continue to play ball, who's going to continue to try to make a play.
McKenzie's going to keep it himself. Flag goes down.
And also, one thing you don't want to see, especially as this game is progressing, you don't want to start seeing a bunch of unnecessary foul penalties or any kind of 15-yarders here. You want to see the guys keep their composure and keep their cool.
Holding. Offense. Number 59. Penalties decline. Third down.
3rd and 7.
It's 3rd down and 7 for the Dragons. Or 3rd down and 9. Davis flanking McKenzie in the backfield.
Okay, let's take 2-man again. Got the shallow.
McKenzie complete. Delio Richardson inside the 40-yard line. And a first down for the Dragons.
A little bit of life. Keep playing football, man. You never know what can happen.
I mean, anything can happen at this point.
Looks like 2-man.
1st and 10.
Got one downfield. There you go.
McKenzie going deep for Clark. Got a step, and it's incomplete.
Almost had him. Just overthrew him just a bit too much. Again, a great, at least a good chance. I ain't gonna say great because it didn't execute. But those are those kind of those kind of chances that you have to take. As a ref just reported, 5:08 left in the game. But those are the type of chances that you have to take, that you have to make, especially when you find yourself down.
Second down and 10 for the Dragons. McKenzie in the pocket. He's
There
going
you go.
to get flushed out. He'll dump it off to his tight end inside the 20-yard line and complete for a first down. That was actually the running back, Kingston Davis.
Great job. Great job by McKenzie to elude the pressure, keep his eyes down the field. Great job by Davis as well by flanking out and just becoming a receiving threat for his quarterback to help bail him out, and he was able to make a play.
McKenzie rushed, and the ball's out. And the Thoroughbreds may have recovered. And they have. And that's probably the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. As you're starting to see the stands really start to clear out here. There's more people heading for the exits. Definitely not the best of showings today for the Dragons. As you see, a lot of heads hung low. Like I said, those are the kind of things you want to pick those kind of things up. These are games where you can learn from yourself, you can learn from the mistakes that you made. Also, go back and look at the things that you did well. And those are the things you continue to build on and continue to progress throughout the season with.
Here's a big run by Silv. And he's still going.
Wow.
He's got a blocker in front down the sideline and into LCD territory, and a flag down, and a Lane College player is also down.
Well, those are one of those speechless kind of plays. Speechless is not wrapping up. Not finishing plays. That's the result of guys kind of just hanging their heads low and not wanting to finish.
An injury timeout for the Dragons.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 38. After this is going to go. Hey, I got the deal. Going somewhere else.
Zarian McCleve is the guilty party for the face mask, as more fans are starting to head for the exits. And it looks as though Kentucky State is going to run away with this one. Another touchdown. That's going to be the nail in the coffin.
Glad to see number 75, Dan O'Neal, get up on his own power and walk off, as he was the person shaking up. He was the player shaking up on the field for Lane. So, again, it's glad to see him get off under his own pressure, as you see the official wait until he fully gets off the field, and now play is going to continue.
Jalen Myers on first down and 10. They'll tack on the penalty yardage. A toss play to the left side, and he's upended. Great stop by Bryce McKenzie on Tyler Telfy. And it's going to be second down and 11 for the Thoroughbreds. Second and 11. From inside the 15-yard line at the 14. They'll hand it to Silv, and he'll be stopped in the backfield again. It's going to be third down and about 10. as more fans are starting to head for the exits. Yeah, 2 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the contest.
Well, Julian, let's talk about this fourth quarter. Let's talk about how things unfolded in the fourth quarter. What was the point in this game where things just kind of shifted and completely started going one way? What do you think was that determining play?
Well, here's a reverse. And taking it all the way into the end zone for the touchdown is Jordan Level.
Flag on the play.
And a flag is down. This might be coming back. And it is going to be coming back. It's a hold for the Thoroughbreds. And I think this fourth quarter was turned around by that big pass play from Jalen Myers to Brendan Lawler. And it is going to be a hold, though. Replay third down for the Thoroughbreds. They'll repeat third down and 11, I believe.
2 minutes, 10 seconds remaining.
2:10 remaining in the game.
And now it's just cosmetic. Just milking the clock. Just trying to get out of here injury free. Third down, obviously they're not looking for any kind of first down here, but if you're lane, now it's a pride thing. Try to keep them out of the end zone. Don't let them score any more points on you. Just kind of finish this game pretty strong. So they're going to go to the pass.
He's going to throw toward the end zone, and it is incomplete. Knocked away. Great coverage by James Marable on Ladarian McAllister. And it's going to be fourth down. I think this is fourth down territory for the Thoroughbreds, in their opinion, which I really don't understand. I'd kick the field goal here. It almost looks like you're trying to rub it in their face at this point.
Or I think also they might be looking just to try to see if they are able to get the first down or get them to jump off sides. But
they'll snap it. They'll snap it quick. Going toward the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Jonathan Powell, and it's knocked away. Great coverage there by Zarian McCleve. Well, 1:58 left to go in the fourth quarter. I think you want to score for pride here. If you want to milk the clock down, I'd understand that as well. But I'd show some type of pride if I'm Lane College.
Yeah, at this point, I think, again, the goal is to pretty much just get out of here injury-free. You don't want to put your players in any kind of harm's way. Run the ball, I think, kind of get over it. Can't come back in this game. So I think they just need to take it, easy plays. Your quarterback can't take shots like that. Your quarterback cannot take shots like that. That's exactly why you have to run the football. Because now he's getting up, having to shake that one off. Run the football, get out of this game injury-free. Because another hit like that could potentially put him out for the season.
And he took a big hit. He had Ahmad Isaac streaking down the sideline, but he just overthrew him by a couple of tads.
Yeah.
Second down and 10 for the Dragons.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really hoping they just run this football, just get out of the game, injury-free. And they're gonna go back to the pass.
Back to the air and incomplete, intended for a bunt. It's dropped. Third down and 10.
Cause see, Julian, I know you say you think they should be going to score for the pride, but I also think the pride could be diminished now because you see a lot of the guys hanging their hats, drop passes, getting your quarterback blown up. Guys probably are not going to block to the best of their abilities at this point. So Right now, I think it's more of a detriment to throw the football and try to move the ball down the field per se. All you're doing is pretty much rolling the dice and chancing injury here.
Blitz coming. McKenzie can't
Quarterback,
get away from it.
safety.
And he's going to take a safety.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, that's exactly my point right there. Because now more guys are gonna hang their heads low. You see guys walking up the field now. It's not. That wasn't a great scenario for Coach Brown and Coach Burrow specifically to put their players in.
Time remaining 1:43. 1 minute 43 seconds.
A minute and 43 seconds left to go as the Thoroughbreds have a 40-20 lead now.
See McKenzie over there kind of trying to exercise his left shoulders. That was the one that got drove into the ground.
And I think that's a rule that you can't use your body force to tackle the quarterback into the ground. They call roughing the passer at that point.
Agreed, but also at the same time, if you're open and you just getting the shot, you're taking the shot. I mean, the defender didn't intentionally pick him up and then slam him into the ground. He just ran his feet. He just ran right through him. And I mean, if you run right through a guy to hit him, you're gonna fall on him. I mean, that's the nature of the game. So no kind of malicious play there, just great football, great execution there for the defense of the Thoroughbreds, and obviously things are going nothing but their way.
Little miscommunication with subs. Free kick by Rays. And it's going to be fielded by Silv. Trying to get to the edge. He's hit hard. And still on his feet, he'll bulldoze his way across the 25-yard line. It's 40-20. And
it's time to take a knee. Victory formation.
And you really think, how's the all-black party going to be tonight?
Hopefully the all-black party is a success. I'm hoping that goes pretty well. The alumni are able to kind of enjoy that party. Obviously, everybody's mood is going to be a little bit down, especially coming after such a tough loss like this. But those are the kind of things that can help uplift spirits, especially with it being homecoming weekend.
They'll run it. And great penetration by the Dragon defense, but it's too little too late for that, don't you think? It's going to be 2nd down and 8 for the Thoroughbreds. They'll run it again with the fullback Conway, and he'll get a 1st down. And a flag down. I think it's going to be a hold by Kentucky State.
And still pretty questionable decision-making there by their coach, Coach Jackson, Coach Charlie Jackson, of running the football. Man, just take a knee, take the victory. And, at this point, I'm kind of with you. It's kind of like they are trying to rub it in. But that goes back to the body language that Lane is giving off, keeping their heads low, a lot of walking, a lot of moping. Again, you take your losses the same way you take your wins. And right now, it's kind of like smelling the blood in the water for a shark. They're seeing that, and they're just trying to kind of rub that in.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Correction. 2nd down. The time remaining is 50 seconds. 5-0.
50 seconds left to go. The Dragons are going to lose 3 straight games. And they've lost another homecoming as victory formation is an intent for the Dragons, for the Thoroughbreds, and now some pushing and shoving going on. Flags fly. And Coach Burrows on the field to try to get his players back.
Yeah, that guy's going to get ejected. I believe that was 52. 52 for Kentucky State. He's got to go.
It's going to be a pretty interesting handshake by these two teams. Some pushing and shoving, some players trying to stick up for their teammates. I don't think Mirabal liked the way an offensive lineman pushed his teammate into the ground for no apparent reason.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 61. Half the distance to the goal. Third down.
So that was 61 with the push.
45 seconds remaining.
Keaton Davis, sophomore offensive lineman out of Anderson, Indiana.
I don't understand why you do it. Another knee down. And it's going to be fourth down.
You got to figure one more kneel.
How many seconds were left? How many seconds?
I think they're just going to end the game right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are going to end the game right here. The Dragons have lost 3 straight as they lose homecoming by a score of 40-20. And the Dragons, they've established offense in the first half and in the second half, just couldn't make the necessary plays to come back and win the game for homecoming, Tyler.
Yeah, the Dragons showed some bright spots. They showed some areas, and they had some highs in that game where they had big plays, opportunities, spots where they could have capitalized. But, ultimately, it ended up just kind of not going in their favor. They had some things, a lot of bonehead mistakes, turnovers, errors, things of that nature that came back to bite them. And it ultimately cost them this homecoming game.
Yeah, and Coach Jarek Burrows has to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, what's necessary to do to avoid another loss like this, especially on homecoming. It's one of the most anticipated games on campus, and Kentucky State comes all the way from the capital of Kentucky and spoils homecoming for the Dragons. And definitely not the result that they wanted after this one.
Yeah, definitely. You think, again, as you just said, they're going to go back to the drawing board, watch a lot of film, again, see they're going to be able to get a chance to see the errors and mistakes that they made and see, where they missed opportunities were. I hope the coaching staff does the same. They go back and look at, different spots where they could have taking advantage of opportunities here and there. So ultimately going to have to go back to the drawing board as a whole. But, they look to bounce back next week.
A bounce back next week would definitely be a necessity as the team gathers toward the band to do their annual explanation of the alma mater. The Dragons have lost 40-20, and Tariq McKenzie, you think, is he going to be healthy enough to play in the next game against Tuskegee, I believe?
Yeah, October 26th, next Saturday at Tuskegee, the Whitewater Classic. And that game will be at 5 p.m. But yeah, how do they respond next week? How do they respond? They're gonna have to do a lot of soul searching this week. But this was definitely a game where They had the chance to learn a lot about themselves, learn from certain circumstances and situations, and they'll be able to grow from this.
Yeah, it's definitely a heartbreaking loss for the seniors' last homecoming game. Not the way that they wanted to end this one, and it's very, very frustrating to, give all you can, do all that you can to help this team come back. And, Lane College was fighting. Lane College gave it all that they could, but, Kentucky State was just clicking on all cylinders, and they came in here and showed that, they were the better team, and Lane College got out disciplined, out focused, and they've got outplayed, and Kentucky State won the game, and a well-deserved win for the Thoroughbreds.
Definitely look for a big game next week at Tuskegee, and what should be a bounce-back game, so to say. It should be a bounce-back game next week. This one was definitely a tough loss, especially for the graduating seniors, understanding that this is their last homecoming. But next week, I look for them to really evaluate themselves, look themselves in the mirror, and again, acknowledge their faults, acknowledge their rights, but also know that next week is a new week. They have a new opportunity to prepare starting tomorrow, getting in the film, icing up, getting your body back ready for the grind, or the day-to-day grind throughout the week. So definitely key that they continue to stay focused, continue to play ball, and continue to keep that eye on the ultimate goal, which is conference championship at the end of the year.
Yeah, Tariq McKenzie had a rushing touchdown. He has 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air to DeLeo Richardson, and 1 on the ground. And he also had that big 2-point conversion to cut it to 10, and the Dragons just couldn't spark a comeback, and that's got to be more frustrating for these Dragons, Tyler.
Yeah, and I just got the quick game stats here, as we just got them in, and we're going to read them out. The rushing yards was totally in favor of Kentucky State. They had 48 rushes for a net of 269 rushing yards, and also had 142 yards in the air. But again, those rushing yards, as Lane edged them out in the passing game. But the rushing yards, that's 269 yards. It's almost 300 yards to Lane's 93. So that's a huge difference right there. Just missed tackles, not executing on defense and making the correct plays. That came back to bite them significantly. Fortunately, there weren't any turnovers, anything like that, or there weren't any fumbles, but there were turnovers in the air, interceptions that Kentucky State was able to capitalize off of and score the ball or score during that possession. So, everything essentially in this game, for the most part, went in favor of Kentucky State, and it showed throughout the course of the game. Possession was also key as I continue to look down at these stats, because possession was key. Possession for Kentucky State was 33 minutes and 18 seconds, Tulane's 26:42. So, they had the ball that much longer. They took advantage of the turnovers and opportunities that they had, and that is what ultimately helped them to win this ball game. They triple option worked. Lane's defense wasn't quite disciplined. I use that word. They weren't quite disciplined in the moments where they needed it most. And that cost.
You can just, and it's an emotional moment for the sophomore linebacker Joshua Jeffrey. Just flat out emotional. Either that or he's having a we want to check on him. So the final score was 40-20. It was a great fight, but the Dragons couldn't quite pull off the homecoming win. It's a frustrating loss, and hopefully a bounce back game coming up for the Dragons next week against Tuskegee. We'd like to thank all who made this broadcast possible, including Dr. Logan Hampton, Ms. Pam Peters, our advisor, and our president, Jade Allen, and even our vice president, Tyler Newkirk, who's my co-analyst here. And of course, thanks to everyone who tuned in, even though this was a delayed broadcast. But thank you for watching, and stay safe. This has been a presentation of the SIAC on WLCD, the voice of your lane college Dragons, and some more people that we'd like to thank for making this broadcast possible is the Mass Comm department at Lane College. For the entire Mass Communications department at Lane College and the vice president, my co-analyst Tyler Newkirk, I'm Julian Atkins saying so long and enjoy the rest of your day. Go Dragons.
Peace.